Hey everybody, welcome back to my studio. For the very last time, I think. So many emotions going on right now. So many great memories in this space. So many more challenging memories in this space. But yeah, I think this is the last time I'm going to be filming in here. So I am very thankful that you guys are on this journey with me. I am in the process of moving, as you might be able to tell. My studio space in my new place is it's a lot smaller. So if you're interested in seeing how I take, and my space here isn't all that large, but you know, it's going to be downsized a little bit, and it'll be a challenge, but I am ready for it. I'm going to be creating a lot of new and exciting pieces over there. I hope you guys, stay tuned and follow for the journey. In this video, I just wanted to do one final painting in the space before I went, and I made sure it was a little one. I have two bigger works in progress over here, but I didn't want to move and have like wet paintings that I'd have to worry about transporting. So these have been sitting, anxiously waiting for me to get to my new space so I can work on them. But the piece that I'm going to show you now is one that I had, I kind of used it as my slot board where I would put my extra paint as I was finishing working on other bits of work. And it's like layers and layers and layers of dried oil and cold wax. So that is my base to start this painting. And these are just the final few layers to finish off this piece. And it's actually in my show, which is this upcoming Friday. So yeah, made it in the nick of time. It dried fast enough. So now it's framed under glass and it is going to be hung in a couple days, and the show is this weekend. So thanks for watching, and I hope you stick around till the end and let me know in the comments what you think of this final piece in my studio space here on Drinker Street. All right. Okay, let's get started on this palette. We're using titanium white, little Van Dyke brown, some purple lake, alizarin crimson. We also have quin red, quin magenta, and Hansa yellow light. So those are the colors we're going to be working with today. And this is Gambling Cold Wax. If you're not familiar with painting with oil and cold wax, you mix 50% cold wax with 50% oil paint. And you're going to need some paper towels to clean up as you go along. I like to cut mine in half so they go a little bit further. So we're mixing up the colors here. And we're back to our painting. So this painting is actually, we're going to start on dried layers of oil and cold wax. I've been using this board for, well, this piece of Arches oil paper to put some of my extra paint from other palettes on. So as I build these layers, there's probably, I don't know, 10 or 15 layers of, dried paint underneath. And what it does, it just gives like your painting some nice history. If you go back in and use any solvents, you can go back down and, find colors that you forgot about. And it also adds texture. So as you're putting on additional layers of paint and they dry, you're having some raised textures, which are fun to paint on. I usually use a palette knife to lay down, the color initially. And then I like to go in with like, a spatula, which is a silicone brush. And here I'm using a RNF pigment stick in Cerulean Blue Pale. And also a Sennelier oil pastel in French ultramarine blue. I don't know why I can't talk today. So these are fun to go in and make, do a little bit of mark making. That size RNF oil stick is actually a little large, for such a small painting like this. But, if you want to just add a little bit more of like a drawn effect in certain areas of your painting, it's a good way to go. I like the shape of the Sennelier oil pastels. I like the curved tip on them, so they're fun to draw with. And again, this is a Spatcher 1-inch silicone brush. I believe I got this over at Jerry's Artorama. I don't believe Blick carries them, but you can also find, something similar at your local art supply store. I like to do a lot of finger blending, which is why I wear the glove. Oil and cold wax is a pretty non-toxic, artistic endeavor. However, you don't want to take any chances, so let's just throw on a glove to be on the safe side. It appears I did forget a step here. I at one point sprayed on some Gamsol, which is a solvent, and here I am scraping it off. So what it does is it will eat back into some of your layers of the wet paint, and once you scrape it off, you can see some of the colors revealed underneath. And now I'm using a squeegee. This is a 4-inch squeegee. I got this off of Cold Wax Academy. It's a great size for these smaller pieces. And that green tool underneath of it is a catalyst wedge. So that's fun to make some marks in as well. You use the wedge to scrape back some of the paint. So again, the dried layers underneath, you'll reveal some of those colors as you scrape back the wet paint.
It's not a game, it's a rich thing.
And now we're going in with the edge of the palette knife to add a few more marks. These are a little crisper. You can do more fine mark making with the edges. You can also use the edge of your squeegee to go in and make some nice vertical or horizontal straight edge lines. And the purpose of almost all of these tools is to just blend. Blend, 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 and take away, and then build back up, and then take away some more. It's the push and pull of the whole process, which is so much fun. And I also like to have certain areas of my painting be a little bit more blended, and the others, a little bit more detail oriented. So we have soft edges, we have hard edges. Again, we're just creating a lot of interest that will pull, the viewer in. And here I'm using a Hansa Yellow Pan Pastel. I do like to finish most of my paintings with some Pan Pastel scraping. And then I press that into the wet oil paint, oil and cold wax with a piece of wax paper. It'll secure it kind of as a glue. And then once the painting is completely dry, I'll go back in with another layer of the clear cold wax, and it creates somewhat of a sandwich so that Pan Pastel isn't going to move. And the most fun part of the painting, well, I don't know, a lot of the steps are really fun, but the removal of the tape. If you guys are artists out there and you paint with taped edges, you know how satisfying this step is. It changes the look of your painting monumentally. It's amazing. The big reveal. And there we go. Trying to figure out which way's up, which way's down. But here it is, my last painting at 234 West Drinker Street. And yeah, it was a fun ride. We had a lot of great paintings that came out of this space. A lot of creativity, creative juices were flowing. And I am so happy that you guys were along for the ride. So if you want to learn more about what I do, please feel free to jump over to kbfetzko.com, and that has some of my upcoming courses and classes. And I hope to see you back.